Welcome in, Mountaineer Nation. It's a great day to be a Mountaineer no matter where you are in the world. Haven't already, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. We're at almost 600 subscribers. Once we get there, we're going to start doing some giveaways. I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. Today's win over Texas was a good win, but it wasn't a great win. There's still a lot left to be desired with this team, as I think we all agree. I'm going to give you my thoughts on this game and the game against Kansas coming up right here on the Mountianeer Effect. Today's game against Texas was a good win. It wasn't a great win. This Texas team was really beat up. They had a lot of injuries. If they'd had a couple of those guys in, the game would have went very different. West Virginia did just enough to win this game. They didn't do anything to lose it, and that's what's important. You know, Neil Brown's talked about that, and of course, any football fan would agree you can't make silly mistakes. The thing that really gave West Virginia the edge in this game is third down efficiency, and I know you guys hear me talk about that all the time, but when you're 12 of 20 on third down, chances are you're going to win the game. Texas looked really lethargic. They looked really beat up. They didn't play with any gusto. West Virginia really didn't either, but Texas just looked like a team that's been beat down. So, you know, I feel bad for Steve Sarkisian and those guys, but, you know, it is what it is. Moving forward, we're going to have to continue getting better. JERD looked pretty good today. The line looked good today. The defense looked stellar. If the defense can play this way against Kansas, I think we're going to be okay. You know, I don't know what's got up Kansas, but here at the end of the season, wanting to beat everybody all of a sudden. But, you know, they almost knocked off TCU today. So there's a big monumental task in going to Kansas and beating them to secure that 6th win so we can get to a bowl game. Now, a lot of people say there's too many bowl games. You know, 6-6, you shouldn't get a bowl game. But you got to remember, 6-6, you're a 500 ball team. You're going to play probably another 500 ball team that's evenly matched to you. This gives the kids a reward for a hard fought season, and it can get them to 7 wins. You want to finish the season 7-6. I think Neil Brown needs to finish the season 7-6 to salvage some of the issues that's been going on with decommits. Today's game for me was very lackluster. I mean, the Mountaineers played the way they should be playing every game. They didn't overplay. They didn't overperform, and they didn't underperform. They just performed. And that's what I think this team is. I think this offense, if you can get it to fire on all cylinders, is a 31-point offense. When you have a quarterback and receivers that make silly mistakes, I mean, what you get is what we've had all season is, you know, a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde mentality. And I think moving forward, you know, into Kansas and into a possible bowl game, you know, you're going to have to mitigate that just a little bit. The one thing I took away from the game today, and as some of you might have caught, JERD did not participate in any senior activities. So that's a pretty good sign that his plan is to come back for next year. Now, he'll be a super senior next year. And it would be hard to start anybody over him. So I'm already trying to wrap my brain around JERD for one more year. That's not such a bad thing if we can get everything firing on all cylinders. But at the same time, it's going to stagnate the team to a certain degree too, because him being a 5th-year senior and then a super senior, his ceiling he's already there. There's throws that he can't make. There's things that he can't do. We already know what they are. He hasn't shown that much progression during the season, even though I will give him this. We've seen a little bit, especially with stepping up in the pocket. I just don't understand how coming back for one more year is going to benefit the team. I could be wrong, but the one thing JERD can start working on, he wants to come back for one more year. is being a leader. This team, and you guys know I've said it 1,000 times, there's no fire in their bellies and there's no leadership on the field. And it's obvious. And we need that crazy senior, that crazy leader that steps up and holds other guys accountable for what they're doing, is not afraid to piss off their teammates, to get them to perform the way they should be performing. I think if we could get that down, we would have a lot better shot at getting not only past Kansas into a bowl game, but next year, avoiding bad blowouts and close losses. One thing that did impress me today, and the commentators really were baffled by it, and I wasn't at all, was Neil Brown's choice to go for it on 4th down there at the end of the game instead of punting. And I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I felt like if you're going to risk a punt and it gets blocked, you're in trouble. And Texas leads the country in blocked punts. They almost got one earlier in the game. West Virginia had one blocked last week. So that's a little suspect. They called a play that was either going to be the dagger in the heart to end the game, or it was going to be an incomplete pass and a turnover on downs. And it was really close to being a touchdown. But I think the best you would have gotten is if you kick it into the end zone, they'd have got it on the 20. I think they were on about the 35. So you only gave them 15 extra yards with a stingy defense that Texas has had a problem moving the ball on all day. So I actually really like that call. It showed me that Neil can have some gumption and some balls about him. I think it was a really good play call. I think it was a really good decision to go for it in that situation. I felt like the commentators overreacted and didn't think through why he did what he did. It made the most sense. Why risk that punt when you don't have to? Letty Brown showed up today, had a really good game. He looked like he was running strong. The O-line was making holes for him. Real impressed by that. All in all, it was a good win. We're still only scratching the surface, I think, of the talent that's actually on this team. This team has some phenomenal weapons on it. They just haven't been utilized either correctly or they haven't materialized the way they need to be those dangerous weapons. I think Caden Prather is showing us the kind of weapon that he's going to be over the next few years. And I really hope that he sticks around and sticks it through, because I think he's going to be a phenomenal talent. But I'm Sam the Man. This is the Mountineer Effect. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Let me know what you think about the game. Did you agree with that 4th down call? What did you see in the game that impressed you? What was baffling? What do you think it's going to take to beat Kansas? Kansas is a bipolar team this year. We don't know what we're getting when we go to Kansas. So it's going to be an interesting week to prep for that game. So leave your comments down below, and I'll answer all of you that comment. So I'm Sam Man. This is the Mountineer Effect. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go Mountaineers.